Welcome to WO50, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello, everybody. My name is Corinne, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddie. And today we actually are talking with somebody. We were talking with a very dear friend of ours, Kathy Peake. And Kathy she's a registered nurse. She taught health in high school for many years. She's a meditation teacher. She's a massage therapist. She's not a naturopath, but she has like this vast knowledge of herbs and plants. She's like a earth mother. She's a bee mother. She's had bees for many years. So we kind of went in all directions, didn't we, Eddie?
We did. Like she's another wise woman that we've traded secrets over the years, of all of us have. And she just is just a bucket of information. Like there's lots of tools and just like us, she's getting older and just embracing it and loving it. And she talked about that, and I just loved it. Yeah, we talked about everything, female issues and just herbs and lotions and remedies and healing methods, and it was fun.
We had a fair bit of laughs too. So I hope you all enjoy our conversation with Kathy Peake.
Hey, Kathy. Hi, Ken.
Hi. It's the gathering of the goddesses.
Woohoo!
Ooh, it's so excited. So excited to see you.
Oh, it's so great to see you guys. It always just brightens my day.
Oh, and thank you for coming on and spending some time with us today.
Yeah, so
Appreciate
excited.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
WO50. We're introducing another wise woman in our circle. And this is Kathy Peake. And she's been a friend of mine for 35 years and a friend of Eddie's for a lot of years too.
A lot of years, probably what, 15, 10 or
Yes,
15?
yes, yeah, for a
Yeah, a
while.
long time.
Yeah.
And you were up here in Newfoundland last year. No, 2023. Like, where did that go?
I know, I know.
Yes.
It was amazing. Yeah, they're just
It
a
was
beautiful
so
place. I
fun.
cannot wait to come back.
Oh, we loved having you here.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I reached out to Kath to see because Eddie and I have been talking, we thought in 2025, I think on our podcast, we'd like to interview more people because we get,
Mhm.
we could just, Kath, we can talk amongst ourselves, forever.
Yeah.
And so last year we had Sarah McLean and Alea on. Well, I guess it would be over the last year and a half. We've only had two people on. And so this year we want to maybe like once a month or something, talk to, some of the amazing women in our circle, in our wise women over 50 circle, and just have a little chat. And so Kathy's like, well, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I don't know, just like, what's it like to be a woman over 50 or over 60, whatever we are now? Like how are we now? And yeah, like what have we learned? And what's it like how great it is being the age we are?
And what
Hmm.
are the challenges, right? What
Yeah.
are the challenges as we get older? And what are your dreams moving forward? Like lots of things, like share life.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, as I was thinking about this, there's so many incredible things that happen when you get older. A lot of people have always been, oh, 60s, and I don't know. With me personally, 60s has just been like a transformation. I've just come to a real peace with myself. I don't seem to be as concerned about what other people think about me. I feel I'm probably my most authentic self that I've ever been in my whole life, where I always felt like I needed to fit in here and I need to fit in there, and will these people like me, that kind of thing. And now I'm just me. I'm just doing my
Mhm.
thing and just
Mhm.
enjoying that part of my life. And it's just beautiful how once I kind of surrendered, trying to control a lot of different things, then just a lot of peace came into my life. So that's one of the
Yeah.
good things I think that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually listening to a podcast, I think one of the wiser than me podcasts. I don't know if you ever listened. Julia Luis Dreyfus has a podcast where she interviews women wiser than her, like over 70,
Hmm.
and all these amazing, women of the world. And I think it was Isabella Rossellini who said, you know, when we're young, it's like we're striving, like, what do we want to do for a living? We're finding our purpose. We're, making a living. We're figuring out if we want a partner or not, or how if we want kids or not. And there's all kinds of questions and angst. I know for me personally, there was a lot of angst on my purpose and finances and where I was going to live and reaching the goal of being a singer and just all these different things. And now there's none of that. There's just such a peace and a contentment. And I actually really love working with young women, specifically even young singers, to hear about their angst and to help to guide them through, hopefully sooner than they turn 60. Like I feel like we talk about this a lot, is like, is it aging or is it the spiritual journey? Or it's probably both, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I think there comes a time where, I mean, the kids are grown, they're doing their own thing. I'm a grandmother, I'm a BMA now, and have that part of my life. I'm not, worried so much about what the kids are doing or how their lives are going. They've got their own agenda and their own things
Mm-hmm.
that they're doing, and it frees more up for time for me. And I've really learned a lot about self-love. As you know, the my heart diagnosis with heart failure a couple of years ago,
Right.
just was a big slap in the face, and slow down. Where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I? What I want to be healthy for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I really learned how to love myself and realize that I didn't need to feel guilty about loving myself. That
Mm.
that's not being selfish, that loving myself and doing things like getting, a weekly treatment. I either, get reflexology, or I get a massage, or I go see my acupuncturist, and I try to schedule something special for myself every week, and realizing that
Mm.
as long as my cup is full, as long as I'm taking really good care of myself, man, I've got all this that I can give and to
Mm.
help other people. Where before had lots to give to help other people, but it was taking away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to learn to fill my cup first.
Do you find, Kathy, that because I'm not a B ma, I'm a G ma,
Mhm.
I'm an N. And do you find that having grandkids to really help you dig deep into your own self love? Because there's so much more to give when, because they love you, right? They
Oh
love you
gosh.
anyway. But
Yeah.
that you're making the time, like it's like even though adding on, like as we get older, there's more family and there's nieces and nephews and more and more and more.
Mhm.
But the time is different. Like we're doing what we really want to do. Do you find that that's kind of,
Mhm.
you're staying true to yourself? And it's like we were so busy in the younger years, we duties, right? There was so much you had to get done, and
Mhm.
it was so much laid on you. You felt like there was so much responsibility, and now
Mhm.
it's like just almost an ease and just a living. Do you find that's happened?
Definitely. Definitely. Even though I'm still, working and that type of thing, I don't have as much of the financial responsibility. It's great when you get the kids off the payroll. It's really nice when that happens, but not having that financial responsibility that I really just have to worry about myself. It's just such an ease. And what I found is that I've really learned to create the boundaries around my personal space and my time and my effort. And with doing that, keeps from getting overwhelmed. Where I think before you can't really have boundaries because you've just got to get it done. It has to, nobody else is going to do it. You have to get it done.
Mm.
It's got to be taken care of. And so there's no, well, I really don't want to do this right now, or I don't have the energy. You just have to just keep going. It's like the little
Mm.
energizer buzzy, just go, 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 go. Now I can really stop and reflect and go, okay, do I want to do this? And here, oh, isn't this great? I can go pick up the kids from school today. I can change my client from, 12 to 10. And then I have time, to be able to go and spend time with the grandkids, or do something special, and, pick them up from school and go get ice cream and do that kind of thing. It's very lovely. It's a lovely time to be.
But it's not like a daily thing. It's when you have the space and time. That's the difference.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. And of course I, would at the drop of a hat, if they needed me, I would be there. But as far as just hey, can the kids come over or whatnot? It's like, well, I don't know. Let's see. Do I need some time off, or I've got, something else going on? And I don't feel guilty about creating those boundaries around me to protect my own energy.
And I think moving too from, the working years and raising kids and then into the grandparent years, there's really no book on it. You're just kind of in the flow of just going with it. It's like
Mhm.
making that time in your schedule or your life, or, as long as you're really taking care of yourself. Because I know I have some patients, they feel like, some of their kids are taking advantage, right? So it sounds like you got, your boundaries in place and
Yes.
you're enjoying it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there
Amen.
are little legacies, aren't they?
They are. They are. And it's so funny. I talked with my daughter the other day. We had to drive down to Atlanta and had a really good talk about my oldest daughter, who's Anna, who's got the two boys. And I said, we always think, oh, we've got to impart this wisdom on our children and we've got to teach them, we've got to do all that. Well, in reality, the children teach us so much about ourselves. There are reflections of who we are and our thoughts. And she's like, I know. She said, even the kids will argue like me and Miguel argue with each other. And, just really you have to check yourself. And when you're around the kids, it's like, okay, they are mimicking everything that I'm doing. And so it teaches you a lot about yourself.
Yeah. And you just got to love them. So
Yes.
that's it. That's our only job. Just love them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
what else is new? What else is new in your life? Are you still creating and
I am. It's really, it's nice to have time, a little bit more time to be able to spend on creating type things. Where before I would just, it's, oh gosh, I got to hurry up and get this made, or I got to get this done. Where now I really take the process. I write everything down. I make sure, everything is just perfectly accurate and, keeping really good records where, I mean, I've made some stuff that I was like, oh, this is really good, but where's my sheet of paper that, I could never recreate it, so it's really nice to be able to slow down and to do that. I'm finding a lot of um, older women, um, and I guess because I'm a nurse and a massage therapist, and people feel that they can talk to me, but I'm realizing, what a problem that older women have with vaginal dryness and with libido and all that type of thing. And so that's been something that I've been working with, a couple of things, just someone told me, so, oh, well, we got the KY jelly. And I'm like, oh no, please don't use that stuff. And just discussing and talking about natural ways to, with lubricants and different supplements or
mm-hmm.
homeopathic things that are really good that can help with issues with that and with incontinence.
Yeah.
People go, oh, it's just the age, and I guess, and I'm just going to be incontinent. And I'm like, no, 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 no. There are things
Yeah.
that you can do.
Kathy, isn't that awesome that like as we and Corinne the same thing, I guess we're getting older, we're sharing more of that information that because we've had those symptoms, we're in our 60s, we've had them, we know what that feels like.
Mhm.
And, you're compounding stuff, I'm compounding stuff. Corinne's doing lots of coaching. She's always compounding stuff anyway.
Mhm.
You're using the herbal stuff, and the weeds and the dandelion, and I'm getting the weeds from the sea, right? And we're
Yeah.
bringing things together because we're playing with stuff that we've it's tried and true and it's real and it's exciting and here we are getting older and we're not sitting on the back porch on the bench like twiddling our thumbs and wondering what we're going to do next. We're
Mhm.
just so excited that our brains are functioning and there's tools if we're forgetting stuff like you say
Right.
like, oh, I forgot that recipe, right? You got
Mhm.
those little lists and like it's beautiful. Like keep me updated on what your spreadsheets and
Your
our,
tinctures and your balms
our
and your
teachers.
latest things. So what
Yes.
do you use? I know what Eddie's recommended in the past before. What do you use for vaginal dryness?
I think
That's helpful,
that
personal, Corinne. That's very
yeah.
personal.
Oh no! So embarrassing. No. Okay. The best thing that I have found that has worked for me is fractionated coconut oil. Fractionated coconut oil mixed with a little jojoba oil. I'd say maybe about a fourth of a jojoba and three-quarters of the fractionated coconut oil, but you really just the fractionated coconut oil will be fine. I like the fact what fractionated, you also see it as MCT oil. And what I have found with that is it works better than just extra virgin coconut oil. If you use the extra virgin coconut oil, it's solid at room temperature, and you tend to use a little bit too much, and it gets just a little bit messy. So you want
It's like too much butter on your English muffin.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, to use the fractionated coconut oil and have like a little pump bottle is the safest way to go with that. But it works great and
Yeah, we
safe.
did. Yeah, Eddie recommends the same thing.
Oh,
Yep.
do you?
And yes, and I'm working on even more stuff with that, like with compounding stuff that we keep sharing and sharing because it's the proof's in the pudding. You keep sharing it with people, people keep using it, and we get results. And then it's even when women go and have their pap smears and they follow up with their docs. Your skin, you want to have it soft everywhere. You don't
Right.
want it dry and irritated, and people have issues with intimacy, and it
Mhm.
changes relationships. And here, this is what we're doing. We're trying to share information that will help people kind of improve everything from their sex lives to their quality of their life to, I mean, psoriasis and dry skin and dry vaginas is not very comfortable.
No, not at all.
No,
Not at all.
no.
And
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 there's
we have solutions.
there's the homeopathics. I'm not sure if you're familiar with we have a homeopathic company. It's called Newtons Homeopathics. They're out of Georgia, and they make it's called, I think it's Feminine Comfort. And it's a homeopathic formula that not only helps with vaginal dryness, but helps with bladder. It helps just with general women's comfort in our skin, but mostly for that type of thing, as far as anything related to sex or with bladder
Mhm.
control and infections. It shocks me the number of women at our age who never really realized, to not have like scented, fragrance things and stuff with their underwear, or to use, things that actually irritate that sensitive tissue, and are using Tide or, even, some of the good stuff, seventh generation or whatever that's called, they have fragrances and stuff in there. And those tend to be irritating for some people, not everybody, but I know a lot of people I've helped out tremendously, just getting them off of their laundry detergents and doing something in a free and clear with that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's so important.
And
So,
even for women who are not sexually active, whether they plan on it or not. So a lot of older women think that that part of their life is done, but it's still important because it can cause a lot of other problems if you don't stay lubricated, whether you're sexually active or not. And I know
mhm,
that from
mhm.
working with a couple of clients who had some
mhm.
problems that way. And I was like, oh, that can happen. And so I
Yeah.
started to pay a little bit more attention too, because I haven't been sexually active in quite a while. And so, but I hope to maybe someday.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
but you got to keep it hydrated, or
Mhm.
bacteria has quick access, and we get these UTIs, bladder infections. Just
Right.
lots of irritation. Women get vaginal atrophy, and
Mhm.
then you got to retrain the vagina how to get back on the job again when you're in a new relationship. And
Exactly.
there's
Yeah.
tools that women have to use, and there's a lot of women going, what, what's up with
Mhm.
that? It's
Mhm.
right,
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
We hear it
And
all the
even
time.
just when I was in Thailand, had phenomenal experience. I can't pronounce the name of the type of massage, but it was abdominal massage that they do in Thailand, and I had two of them, and it was so powerful. I have a scar that's from a ectopic pregnancy when I was 24 years old, and which is a tubular pregnancy, and had that surgery. And so I've had a little bit of problem. I've done scar work for, guys, a massage therapist. I've done it for years, but it was after I had that abdominal massage. I mean, my whole abdomen was different. It felt different from having that done. My little bit of, coughing and, maybe just a little bit of leak if my bladder's really full, gone, just as amazing. There's a really good book called The Bathroom Key, which is, I recommend to a lot of my folks that if they have any incontinence, to read that. It has, it goes beyond Kegels. It's beyond, just doing people, I do my Kegels. So, well, there's a whole lot more to do than just Kegels. So I recommend folks to do that. And I think there's somebody called like the Vagina Coach or something like that on social media that a couple of my clients have mentioned her to me. I haven't seen her stuff, but it's great. People need to talk about this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Especially,
so let's talk.
It's what I missed that.
Corinne, we had a little silent moment. I'm like, okay, let's talk.
No, I think it's much needed conversation, because I think people are apprehensive. I know when I've been around women and all of a sudden they start talking about it, then everybody starts to get so excited because they don't want to say anything or admit anything. And then all of a sudden somebody else says they have, and you have that too. And isn't that normal? That's not normal. And how can you fix it? And how, so all good conversations for sure. I was listening to a podcast where one of the specialists said that peeing in the shower is not very good for you, for your control, for your bladder control. I thought that was very interesting because I always pee in the shower.
No. We better stop that.
Well, now what I do is I stop and start again. So it just doesn't, because I think the idea was they don't want the water to get all of a sudden.
Plus, it's getting on your feet. I don't want it on my feet.
Why not? It's antiseptic. It's very clean.
It's good for bamboos.
It's good for the compost.
Oh my! We should do a podcast. We did one. Watch your poo telling you. Watch your pee telling me.
Yeah,
that has to be the next one.
What's the matter with your bladder?
What's the matter with your bladder? Oh, I love that. That's great.
I know. And there's a lot of talk around the bladder because women have had mesh put in. Oh. And there's been a lot of controversy with that. They've dropped. And then there's, oh my gosh, it goes on and on. They've had to have repairs and bladder lifts. And, any woman who's given birth and that pressure, there's hemorrhoids. There's so many things from the pressure. And that's the whole thing about keeping the body hydrated and repairing when we have symptoms. I mean, just pay attention to the symptom and then let's find the root cause. Let's get to the bottom of the matter.
Exactly. Well, I remember when, after I had my third child, I was standing there going for her first, 4-day checkup or whatever in the pediatrician's office. And I'm standing there checking out and I'm holding this baby and, I'm excited to be out and I've got my new baby and I've been drinking water because I'm nursing. And I took a sip of water and choked and it started coughing and it was like a flood just down I'm like, how do I walk to my car? How do I sit in my car? It just was terrible. And when I went to the doctor about it, there was nothing to do. It was like, do your Kegels and, that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, this is not working. And then I started having, I would go to sit down and it was like a sharp pain, just like right at the base of right in my butt. Right. I thought it was my back and finally ended up going to my OBGYN and they said, you're prolapsing. You've got your uterus is prolapse. And I'm like, what? So they gave me estrogen cream to put in vaginally, which if you've ever done that before is like one of the nastiest, messiest things, especially if you want to have sex in the next couple of days, because it stays in there for a long period of time. And that was their only solution. So that's when I started researching and looking. Christy Nordstrom's Goddesses Never Age is one of my favorite books. And just started reading and looking to these other wise women and what they had to say. So,
Yeah. And there's a lot of wise women out there, and there's a lot we are continuing to learn. And the more we share it, the more, women address it and not be silent about it, because women stay silent and they think they're suffering alone. And then they're like, oh, I just thought this is part of getting older. Like this is the aging process. Well, no, we're pro-aging. We're not fighting the aging, because what's the alternative? We're actually dealing with symptoms as they arise. We want to address it. We want to share this information. Like, yeah, it's personal. I mean, we're not going to blast it all over the podcast. I mean, really. I'm kidding. But we are, but that's the whole point of this, is that, we are sharing, and we get a little vulnerable with all this, but this is really helpful, right? It's really helpful when we share our stories with other women, and even the men that get to listen and go, God, I didn't know they were suffering like that. Wow. I didn't know women, because women don't share it. They go,
Right.
oh, I'm having painful intercourse. They got dry vaginas, and then they don't have sex because it hurts, because the vagina's so dry, the walls are so dry, there's cracks, right? And women come in and go, it's just, and then they stop having sex. They stop the intimacy, and the guys think, well, what I do? And there's no conversation. So this is why it's so important to go, oh, as we get older, this is what starts to happen. These are the things we need. And there's hormone replacement therapy, there's vaginal suppositories, there's creams, there's lotions, there's potions, let's read a book. If that doesn't work for you, there's other solutions, right? There's lots. And that's kind of what we all do, is we search for the solutions as the symptom arises. Because when I was 30, I wasn't thinking about what I needed at 60. Were you?
Not at all. Not at
No,
all.
not at all. And so why do we think it's such a problem? We go, oh, yeah, yeah. I always say, how dry is the basement? Only your gynecologist can check that out.
This is one case when you don't want a dry basement.
You don't want a dry basement. So, you want to have, nice fresh coat of paint on the outside, right? So that's your nice creams and lotions and whatever we're doing. And then there might, women might need a vaginal suppository. And it's getting, the more aware we are, there's less and less and less of the toxins that we're putting in. That's what, our side of medicine, the integrative piece is what we work on. But, we want to know from everybody, what have you used? What is available? Share with us. We'll share our stuff, right? Is that true? I think that
Most
makes sense.
definitely. Most definitely. I've gotten a few thank you notes from husbands before that were very grateful.
That's
Yes,
awesome. I love that.
same. Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and there could be, I do like a manual abdominal work. It's almost like a manual bladder lift that works really well, for folks, because lots of times it's just adhesions that are in their abdomen. So I plan to head back to Thailand next January and go and study this. And so I can really, actually know what I'm doing instead of just doing it intuitively, which is what I do now. And actually,
And then teach it.
and then teach it. And then
Share
tell
it
everybody about it. Yes.
Yeah, because that's the thing. We seek out the knowledge, right? And we want to share it. And I remember doing a massage years ago, and the gal did the abdomen work, and I was in Vancouver, I think, somewhere. Anyway, I loved it because I have scar tissue from a ruptured appendix, from when I was young. And yeah, when I had my baby, like I could feel the pain, but I could feel the scar tissue breaking away. And of course, my midwife is thinking, "Oh no, her uterus might be rupturing." Right? There was that scary moment. I knew it was, and I just felt like there was a scar tissue thing happening, and that's exactly what it was. But we don't. So if we can, we got to stay on top of it all. But that's a cool technique, though.
Yeah, it is wonderful. That's wonderful.
Great.
Nice. And then what about Switching topics for a second, I just thought of your bees. We haven't talked about your bees yet.
Oh
I just want
yeah.
to talk. I know you didn't have bees this year, but it's the first time you haven't had bees. You,
Mhm.
you are the bee mama. You make all kinds of stuff with bee stuff, and everybody's been loving your tallow soap. And your,
Um,
yeah, I mean, actually, I gave Kathy, other Kathy, she was like, "Is that Kathy's soap in your bathroom?" She said last night after her embodiment. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's her stuff." And she goes, "I've used it the last couple times I've been here, and it's my hands are so soft." And I said, "I got an extra one upstairs if you want." So we might have to order you some more here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, tallow is just absolutely wonderful, and bees. I miss my bees. We had a real problem with they're called Joro spiders. Here they've come from China, and they just have really invaded this part of Georgia, and they would make these huge, expansive. I have got videos of these expansive webs that were right where in my bees' flight path. And so they were just decimating my hives. And it was just, I mean, it just was breaking your heart. I would go out and I'd knock them down, every day. I mean, that was my chore today. Go around and knock down all the Euro spiders. I had a blowtorch. If I could reach them, I would torch them with a blowtorch. And I finally
Wow.
just went, okay, I got to have a year. This spring, when the one hive that I had left just was too weak to make it through the spring, I went, okay, I'm going to have a break, and I'm hopefully going to let the spiders die down. And next year, this spring, I plan on having bees again, and we'll
Oh,
love doing
good.
that. There's a distinct difference. I actually had to buy some wax. And I got it through Mountain Rose Herbs, which is an amazing company. They have amazing stuff.
Mhm.
It's just not the same as my own.
Wow.
The wax that I have is just so pure. I don't use any chemicals. I pull it from the first. It doesn't sit in the hive for 2 or 3 years. It comes, with my honey harvest, and where a lot of people reuse their wax. I go ahead and cut it all out, and might not get as much honey, but I get amazing wax from that to make a lot of my products. But the tallow, I've been making that. Gosh, Corinne, I've been making that for years. I've been using the tallow and making that, but all of a sudden it's become this really hot trend, which is awesome. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I want your tallow soap," which is really good, and I'm grateful and glad to make that for people. But what a lot of people don't realize is the tallow needs to be just from the area around the kidneys, which is called the sweet SUETE or something like that. And the other fat will work okay. It's great for soap and for things like that. But if you're making any kind of facial product or anything like that, and you're not using that sweet, and you add any kind of moisture, castor oil, or anything, what to it, it's going to break down. It's going to create bacteria. It's going to be a real problem. And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing with a lot of people out there now. They're just going, they're like, "Oh, I cut the fat off my, whatever, and rendered it down, and I'm making me a face cream." It's like, no, 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 no. It has to be a specific type of fat.
Wow,
Yeah.
who knew? See,
Yeah.
that's why you get paid the big bucks for this stuff,
That's right.
Kath.
That's right.
We're laughing
Yeah.
because I always tell her she doesn't charge nearly enough for all her amazing stuff. And she doesn't have a website now, but you will sooner. Do you have any links? We can do your Facebook. We can share your Facebook information.
Yeah, yeah. I still have not. I've just, I get to working on it and get frustrated, and haven't. It just hasn't happened yet. But
Yeah.
I'm working on the Squarespace.
Yeah.
So I've got a few things up on my Squarespace. It's not live yet, but as soon as I get that a little bit more refined, I will have that. But you can just shoot me an IM on Facebook, and just, I'm happy
Which
to.
means instant messenger for those
Yes,
people who don't have grandkids or kids or do messenger.
yes, yeah.
I'm like, what's an
Isn't
IM?
it, isn't it
Yeah.
so exciting though that like as we get older and you see all this magic happen with your products and you know, the ingredients works, like it's such a good feeling, isn't it?
Oh, it feels so good. I mean, I've had people that have really bad eczema and psoriasis. I put no essential oils. It's just straight tallow soap. It's just the basics now. So anyway, so they'll come in and they've got, these big patches and things like that. And like 3 weeks later, they come in for a massage and they're like, look at my skin. I've been using the soap and my skin's clearing up. I mean, nothing has helped for these people for so long. So it's very rewarding for me to see the medicinal part of that it's really, really helping people.
And Kathy, as you are getting older, and you're not reflecting every day that you're getting older. You're reflecting on every day that you're helping all these people, that you're making product, that you're moving forward in your life, and you're full and thankful, right? And grateful, and you're savoring the moments. You're not sitting down going, oh, I'm getting old. Right? We're like, I'm not doing that. Like if the thought comes in, I'm like, the list is probably like yours or Corinne's. It's like, I got too many other things on the plate than to worry about this aging process. I just got to roll with it.
Right. And I feel, even though, I had the heart thing and all that, which by the way, I'm seeing my cardiologist tomorrow, and
good for you. Got to stay on top of it.
Well, to back down off my medicine. So I just had an echocardiogram a few weeks ago. Everything looks great. I'm back up in normal ejection fraction. And so I'm doing good. And so I'm going to start backing off my medication, which I'm super excited about. So we can heal. Our bodies are made to heal. And so I am just, every day I wake up and it's like, oh, who do I get to love on today? It's, my client, and what do I need to do to make sure everything's ready for that? And, maybe I'll make some of this before I get started. And it's just, I love it. I love my life. I'm really enjoying my life, and that I get to really do what I'm here to do, is just to help other people.
And do it from a healthy place.
Right.
From a healthy place. Yeah. With awareness and love, and so happy you're, in my life. As same with Corinne. I love this beautiful group of wise women that, so much to share, and it's exciting.
It is exciting. It's exciting. We're very fortunate to have each other. And I love the platform that you guys are doing and making a difference, because lots of times this age group just kind of, we think we're out to pasture, and we're not. We have a lot to live and a lot to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I love you, Kath. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and sharing you and coming on. And you're our tribe. Well, you're one of our tribe.
I know. I love it. I love being with you guys, and thank you for the opportunity for me to talk. And I'm glad to share whatever I can with you guys anytime. Love you.
I love you, Kathy. Can't wait to get some tallow.
Oh, I know. We'll get together soon, and I'll get you some tallow soon.